The Boomeranger Rework just launched on PC, and in this video I will be doing somewhat of a brief explanation on the actual rework. So if you want the full patch notes, I'll leave that in the description down below. Before going into the changes, I will list quickly what are going to be the things that didn't get changed, which are going to be the subclass, the hidden effects, and the old effects from the ultimate ability, so the healing gems, cooldown gems, chickens, and the cluster bombs. All of them will be doing the same damage and properties. Now, onto the actual changes. The passive ability. The passive ability now spawns a fairy similar to the Boomeranger subclass, and in this fairy will give you a 50% HP healing, and it also gives you a 5-second invulnerability shield whenever you reach 1 HP. It does have a really long cooldown of over a minute. Basic attack. Basic attack for both melee and the bow have their damage reduced. However, they do other stuff to compensate the loss in damage. The melee version is going to create a tornado after performing a spin attack. This tornado does damage every half a second for 1.5 seconds, and it does have a 2.5 times damage multiplier. It also gives you a damage reduction that will last for 6 seconds. The bow basic attack has 3 effects depending on which arrow that you're shooting with the basic attack combo. The first arrow is going to do the stacking damage over time that will start at 1.5 times damage multiplier, and it will keep increasing the damage every single time that you do hit with the first arrow. This also takes every half a second for the whole duration, and the duration will refresh every single time that you do hit with the first hit on the basic attack. The second arrow will reduce the enemy movement speed in the same way as the Ice Age basic attack. I don't have the actual percentages, but I am going to assume it's also going to be 50% of their movement speed reduced. The third shot will do a small explosion per arrow, making it have better AoE. Even though the AoE on this is pretty bad, it will also reduce the cooldown on your boomerang by 1 out of your 4 stock that you can hold. And it will also reduce the cooldown on all of the rest of your ability by 1 second as well. Boomerang, the first ability. So the boomerang will be different depending on which weapon type that you're using. Keep in mind that this is also true with the second ability as well. And since they are separate abilities, they all have their separate cooldowns. The melee boomerang. It will now spawn a large, slow-moving boomerang that will go through enemies, dealing 10 times damage multiplier per hit, and yes, this can hit twice. Upon catching, this boomerang will reduce the cooldown of all of your abilities by 7 seconds, and it will also give you a 30% total physical damage increase and a 30 base movement speed increase for 6.5 seconds. This ability has a 10-second cooldown. The bow boomerang will spawn the regular boomerang, but instead of spawning 1 boomerang, it's going to spawn 3 of them. And you can hold up to a maximum of 4 stocks of this ability. Each stock has its own separate 25 seconds of cooldown. And each and every single boomerang will be doing the same damage as before the rework, which is going to be 4.5 times damage multiplier per. And catching it will also give the same bonuses as the melee boomerang, which is going to be 30% total physical damage and 30 base movement speed for 6.5 seconds. Keep in mind that both boomerang, of course, will still stun enemies for 1 second upon hitting the enemy. The second ability, Big Bomb. Once again, depending on the weapon that you're using, is going to be different ability with separate cooldowns. The bow version of this Big Bomb is going to be exactly the same way as the pre-rework Boomeranger Big Bomb. It's going to have the same properties, it's going to detonate exactly the same way, same radius and everything. The only difference is going to be that now it's going to do 8.5 times damage multiplier instead of 7.5 times damage multiplier. The melee version of the bomb are going to be, instead of big bombs, are going to be tiny bombs, which will do reduced damage comparable to the actual big bomb, and they will detonate a little bit quicker. But you can actually hold up to 5 stock of these bombs, and each stock has its own 20 seconds of cooldown. Damage on the explosion will be 3.5 times damage multiplier per bomb. Class Gem. The class gem will remain the same type of ability, spawning chickens every single time the big bomb detonates or the actual bomb itself. The bow version is going to be the same as the class gem before the actual rework, and once again with only increased damage to the explosion and increased damage to the chicken. The explosion will be doing 9.5 times damage multiplier instead of 8, and the chickens will be doing a staggering 9 times damage multiplier per hit instead of 2 times damage, which is a huge increase. And the class gem on the melee, it will spawn tiny bog bombs, which will work exactly the same way as the tiny bombs that I just explained a little bit before, and each and every single explosion from the bomb is going to spawn 1 chicken instead of the regular 3 of them. The explosion itself is going to be doing 4.5 times damage multiplier instead of the 3.5 times damage multiplier that the tiny bomb regularly does, and the chickens will also be doing 9 times damage multiplier per hit. Ultimate ability, Mysterious Urn. Outside of the 4 effects that I just explained a little bit before, there's going to be a lot of new ones as well. I managed to find a total of 7 new abilities with this ultimate ability activated, which are going to be the Big Chicken, the Big Urn, the Solarian's Minion, Chuck Pencil, What, the Son of Stars, the Rage Candy, and the strongest out of all of them, the Multi-Urns. I will not explain all of them since I will be there for a while, and I will leave that up to you to test that out if you want. And yeah, those are going to be all of the notable changes on the Boomerangers rework, and the patch note will be in the description down below for you to actually read out, including all of the stuff that are going to be included in this update. So, thank you for watching as always, and let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on the rework.